out there today? This is your boy Rudo Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Monday, November 26th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This week, you can watch all my NBA, MLB, and NFL videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools for you to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, everything that you need. So, hey, come check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And, hey, how you doing out there, Jeremy?
What's up, man? What is up? I'm ready to move on from NFL, get into NBA. NFL was brutal today. Crazy day. Weird day.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, man, let's just get up into it. So
Yeah,
real
let's
quick,
go.
before we do anything at all, if you guys don't mind, please take the quick second for me. Click the like button down below. Hey, it helps me out a lot, guys, and I really appreciate that from you. And yeah, so hey man, honestly, today wasn't the best day for me NFL. I'm man enough to admit it. I had too much Mullen and too much of Bridia and the tight end as well. So man, it didn't end up working out, but it was like, we were arguing, not arguing, but we were like really frustrated, like, man, arguing about the ref should have gave both of them the touchdowns when they were on like the half-yard line or whatever. And that's just a matter of inches of the day, like completely changing. If either one, if the quarterback sneaks in or Brady, who we have, gets in, that kind of gives us that touchdown right there. Plus, we also kind of makes the game closer, and I think that things could have been different. So, how did you do on the NFL day, Jeremy?
The frustrating thing, I was overexposed to Mullins, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
Completely overexposed. But the frustrating thing about that is for me, the NFL has gone out of their way on a ton of plays because they're going to get a touchdown gets automatically reviewed. They've gone out of their way to err on the side of calling it a touchdown and then letting it get overturned on review if it's not a touchdown. This is a classic example of a guy who clearly, and I'm talking about Mullins, even Bridia, both of them are in the end zone, clearly in the end zone. The problem was you just couldn't see the ball, but the player was in. If that guy calls it a touchdown, there's no way they can overturn those because clearly you couldn't see. So I didn't like the fact that they erred on the side of caution and spotted the ball short. And you look at the exact next possession, and without question, pretty much the same opportunity with Peyton Barber, and they don't even think twice. They just throw their hands up and call it a touchdown. In traffic, etc., barely gets in. That just was frustrating because they didn't err on the side of what they've gone out of their way to do and what they're saying they're going to do, and that's let replay determine it because it's automatically reviewed. But I'm crying about spilt milk. Can't do nothing about it. Slate's over. It's in the books, and we're on to the next. Let's get into NBA.
Yeah, so let's go, man. I'm just ready to jump right into it. The first game we're going to talk about is going to be a pretty good game. So we got Milwaukee going into Charlotte to face the Hornets. This game has a 235.5 implied total, and Milwaukee's favored by 5 in this one.
Giannis coming off a monster game the other night, 70-plus fantasy points, 70.6. He's been playing at a high level all season long. There's no doubt about it. You said going into the slate that the guy's having maybe possibly the front runner for the MVP. I think you have to look at him in this game. Kemba Walker is going to carry this team. They've got guys on the Charlotte side that are playing well. Charlotte's playing good basketball. So there's obvious guys you can target here. Chris Middleton, you say it time and time again. He's their best pure shooter. Hasn't had a run of really good big upside games, but he's been a model of consistency, dropping 30 pretty consistent. At 7,400, that doesn't really get us value. We need for tournament value, we need more like 44.4. So I don't know if that upside is there, but I expect this game to be a lot like a typical Charlotte game. A high combined total. You're looking at maybe a 120 to 118 game, 126, 120, something like that. So I think a lot of points will be scored here. I think that Chris Middleton, Giannis, Bledsoe, and Brogdon are all in play here for the Bucks.
Yeah, for sure. And then on the Charlotte side of things, like, man, let's keep it real, bro. Do I even have to say his name? You already know who you play in this spot. We love to play Kemba Walker at home. The guy's just been absolutely lights out this year, having the best year of his career so far, really starting to, come into form. And the dude's definitely an all-star, in my opinion. And they need him to score, and we always talk about it. Kemba Walker, he gets as many shots as he wants on this team. He fills up the stat sheet, very consistent. Love him in this spot. 9,200 is a very fair price tag for him. Then you got Jeremy Lamb. He's been doing pretty good. They've been giving him some more minutes, and he's been consistent. This guy has always been consistent for us. Even played him a lot last year. It's been all about minutes with him, and he's getting them, and definitely you can see what he's been doing. I think that he's a solid play. They're gonna need some scoring. It's just gonna be a back and forth game. I think it's gonna be high scoring for sure. We always talk about this guy Batum. He plays minutes. He's not really scoring the ball, shooting, trying to actually score points this season compared to last couple seasons. I mean, he still is getting you some defensive stats. He's getting you some rebounds, and occasionally he'll drop you, 15, 16 points. But he's not so damn excited about. But 5,000 is a good price tag. You need 25 for value. I think you could consider him. And really, that's about it for me. I'm not really looking at nobody else, on the Charlotte side of things.
Right.
Cool. Let's go. Next game we got Houston going into Washington to face the Wizards. This game has a 224 implied total, and Houston's favored by 3.5 in this one. Hey, real quick, before we get into this, hey, bro, I keep hearing something's going on with Dwight Howard, and I don't know. Have you heard anything about something like that?
As far as what, like from injury or trade or what?
No, I don't know. I was just hearing he had some crazy things that were going on in his personal life, and they're coming out in public, and people were talking about him or something like that. I don't know. Yes, even Marv was saying, "Hey, Marv, what happened? Marv, break down the story." So let's get into this, and my boy Marv's going to break down for the story for us in the chat. All right, but
the one thing I do know about Dwight Howard is he has supposedly five kids with 5 different women. So if there's something from his personal life that's coming out, it has to. I'm just thinking he may be in a Kentavious Caldwell Pope situation where he might not be able to leave the state for a while because he's got back child support or something like that. Who knows, man? But I know that's one thing that came out. I believe it was in a Sports Illustrated interview where he said he had 5 kids with 5 women or something.
Yeah, so all right, well, let's get on track and go ahead and get us started with the Houston side of things, man.
Hold on, I want to see what's Marv talking about. I'm not even in the chat yet.
No, he didn't say nothing.
So it looks like he's been ruled out. Has he been ruled out for tomorrow?
I think he is. Yeah, I'll check on that while you get us started with Houston.
All right, so for me, and I'm gonna be honest with you, there's something that I do every single day, and I check every single player on the slate to see what their recent performance was against the particular team they're going for. We do it with baseball with BVP, right? We want to see what the batter has done against the pitcher. It's important. I check that on every slate. First thing we have to mention is Chris Paul is questionable. They say he set out for a rest, but they're also listing the reason that he set out is he has lower leg soreness. I mean, he's just old. He's a point guard. He's got a lot of miles on his tires. So we got to look out for that. If he doesn't play, Eric Gordon becomes almost a lock in this game for me. Outside of that, I'm not really looking to play. James Harden 11-7 without Chris Paul. Here's my problem with Houston. I've said it over and over again. They're not playing at a pace that is conducive to James Harden getting 70 points. They're just not. They're not playing at the same pace and scoring the amount of points that they've scored in years past. They're very, very low as far as rankings go and offensive efficiency in the NBA. So, I'll play Clint Capella a little bit if Dwight Howard is in fact out. I'll play James Harden a little bit if Chris Paul is out. If Chris Paul plays, there's not a lot that I want to do with this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, definitely. So for me on the Washington side of things, I mean, you look at the same guys we always talk about. Sometimes I feel like this is a script and we get repetitive. But I mean, after we start getting to, month, 2 months into the season, you start, just always looking at the same guys on team. So I'm going to start with John Wall, 9,300. Always used to love playing John Wall when he was under 10,000. He's definitely been up and down. I think this is going to be a very competitive game in Washington at home. Maybe they'll really rise up for this. Washington's definitely been an up and down team, and Wall has been up and down himself. He does have some upside at this 9,300 price tag, so I like Wall on this one. Bradley Beal, the guy's going to score the ball. You need every night his price tag is pretty much the same. You need about 40 for value. He always gets you 35 to 45. Been very consistent. I like him in this spot. Porter's been starting to pick it up. 6,500, the price tag's fair for him. You need 32 for him to hit value. And in the past three, he's got you 37, 33, 46. One thing I want to note, he's been shooting the ball well. Plus, with no Dwight Howard, he's been rebounding the ball a lot more, getting those extra fantasy points. Oubre, I think they got him in the starting lineup as well. I think you can look at him. He's a guy that has some upside, but strictly GPP. Marquise Morris, I got to give him a little love just because 4,700. He started coming off the bench and he took the bench role, as a challenge. He's still playing, the crunch time minutes. And in the past two games since coming off the bench, he's got you 30 fantasy points, 32 fantasy points, and at a 4,700 price tag. I mean, that's, 8x, 7x, almost 8x. So I definitely think in an up-tempo game, running back and forth. And lastly, you can look at the guy, Thomas Bryant, 3,500. If Howard's out again tomorrow, he's going to get a start. He's a young dude, and he can run up and down the court as well. So I definitely think that, we like running gun shows. There's going to be a lot of rebounds, a lot of three-pointers taken. So definitely see the big man getting some extra run tomorrow, like him. Going against Capella, the only problem is, hopefully he don't get in foul trouble. And that's it for me. But I definitely think that the first two games of the slate that we're talking about are the more exciting games on the slate.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, what other games do you like more than these two games?
I think Orlando Golden State has a potential to be really interesting. I think Boston, New Orleans has a chance to be really interesting. Minnesota and Cleveland has a chance to be interesting. This Houston-Washington game, and look, I'm just going to keep it real with you, bro. You take a look at some in-depth analytical stats. Houston is 29th out of 30th in pace right now, 99.2. I mean, they're just not the same Houston team that gets up and down the floor and has a ton of fun playing, just playing fun basketball. And then you look at their defensive efficiency, their defensive efficiency is, let me look that up real quick. Where are they at on defensive efficiency? They are 20th. So, I mean, they're slow in pace. They don't play good defense. And to me, it's just not an interesting game. Houston's not a very good team right now. They're just not. It's not the same Houston team. I mean, on paper, you see Rockets, Wizards, you see John Wall, James Harden, Bradley Beal, all these dudes who should be superstars in the league. Yeah, on paper, it looks good. But statistically, what these two teams have given us is junk, absolute trash. And it's not even like trash to where it's like, oh, these are two really bad teams. Going to be no defense. They're going to move up and down the floor. A lot of points are going to be scored because they both suck. I mean, I'm not really interested in it.
Hey, bro. So they said that I guess there was a video of Dwight Howard grabbing some dude's nuts on the bench.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
that's funny, bro.
And then they're saying that the reason that he's hurt right now is because his booty hole is hurt.
Hey, somebody went too deep, bro. He's got that abdomen injury.
Shit. All right, bro. Let's move on to the next game. And next game we got going is going to be Minnesota going into Cleveland to face the Cavaliers. This game has a 216.5 implied total, and Minnesota's favored by 6 in this one.
I really, really like Robert Covington tomorrow. I like him in this spot. He's had a lot of success against Cleveland in the past, and the guy's been, he's been solid. He's not really reaching value. If you look at 27 and 23 and 23, he did have that 30-point game against Memphis. But there's spots that I look to play Covington in years past when there's an opportunity for a team that's weak in perimeter defense and Covington can knock down some threes, because he does get you steals, he'll get you a couple blocks, he can get you all those other stats. But when Covington goes off, it's because he's able to knock down some threes. So I like to play Covington against teams that are weak in perimeter defense. And Cleveland is a weak in perimeter defense. So Covington's a guy that I really like. I think Towns can have a really good game. 10-8, pretty fair price on Towns. I think he's, this is an $11,000 player in years past, so it's a pretty fair price. You look at 21 and 13 is what he's averaging in his last 5, 32.6 minutes. I like him. I like this game, dude. I really do like this game. I'm sure I know you're not big on Cleveland, but I think there's some good value on this Cleveland side as well. Wiggins, he's had some solid games against Cleveland as well. So I like Wiggins. I think he's at a good price point. And I think that on this, you look at a slate like this with 7 games, you've got to find spots to be different. I think this is one for tournaments where you can be different, loading up a Robert Covington at 6,800 or Andrew Wiggins at 6,500. Jeff Teague, I'm don't really have much interest in him in this game, but point guards have played well against Cleveland in the past, so he's definitely a spot you could look at as well at 6,500. It's just he's going to fall into that value tier, and there's a couple other guys on the slate that are in the same value tier or mid-range tier at 6,500 that I like as well. So Colin Sexton actually being one of them.
Yeah, so that kind of gets you started. I mean, there's only a couple guys I like on Cleveland. I'm not really too interested in Cleveland. Definitely Sexton though. His price tag only rose 300 from last game, and the guy's been playing very well, very consistent lately. Got you almost 34 fantasy points against Houston, which was it was 6x, almost 7x on his price tag. 30. He's just been consistent. In the past 5 games, he's had 1 bad game. So definitely think that he can have a solid game going against Minnesota. I'm not really worried about no Jeff Teague or Derrick Rose defense. Jordan Clarkson, he's a solid play. The problem with him, he's up and down. And his price tag 5,700. I need a little bit more consistency for that kind of price tag. So no thank you on him. Nwaba's price tag is starting to come up now. He was a good value play before, but I'm not going to go down that well. The only other guy I'm really going to look at is going to be Tristan Thompson, 6,500. The guy's been playing very well right now, balling out, and coming off a really good game, 50 fantasy points. I'm not just chasing that one. I mean, you can see what he's been doing. Going back, 8 games, you got 40, 26, 32, 36, and 50. Like, you can see the consistency. I like Thompson, and that's really it for me.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Let's go. Next game, we got Boston going into New Orleans to face the Pelicans. This game, we're definitely waiting on some Anthony Davis news, probably some news on the Boston side of things with Hayward. So this game, we don't have an over-under, or we don't have a line from Vegas yet. But, yeah, let's jump into that game.
I like this game a lot. You take a look at some of the statistics, the analytics in this game, and you see a team in New Orleans who's towards the top of the league in defensive efficiency. New Orleans is like 7th overall in defensive efficiency. They play fast. Both Boston and New Orleans are towards the top of the league in pace. So I think this game should have one of the higher over-unders in the slate. And then you take a look at Kyrie Irving, right? $9,000. You got to start with him right away. Kyrie Irving's been very solid as of late. The one dud game against Atlanta, but prior to that, 66.9, 51.5, 54.7. So Kyrie Irving playing at a high level right now, and this is a game where he can get up and down the floor. I'm not worried about the Drew Holiday treatment in this one. I'm just not, because I think he can make it up with his ball handling skills and dishing the basketball and finding the open guy and getting assists. You see he's averaged almost 7 assists per game over his last 5 games and playing almost 31 minutes. So the knee obviously isn't an issue here. I think Al Horford could be sneaky tomorrow too at 6,300, depending on what happens with Anthony Davis. I'm not afraid to take centers against New Orleans at all. Marcus Morris, another guy, this guy playing at a really high level, to be honest with you. I mean, he's had a couple of really big games over his last 5. You take a look, the 37.6, this came at a $4,800 price tag. So even 24 at 5,000, that's just about 5x, which is good enough for cash value. So I think there's some really good spots to pick on here. Gordon Hayward, this guy's a knockdown shooter, and he's, as he, missing the entire season last year, he's still getting himself back in rhythm too. And the more minutes he gets, the more he starts to play, the more fluidity he gets in his game. The guy's going to get more comfortable. He'll start knocking down shots. Mirotic, not a great perimeter defender by any means. So, I mean, I like Hayward a little bit too. We'll have to wait and see what happens with him. But I like this game a lot. I think there's some really good targets. I think in tournaments, Marcus Smart is extremely sneaky. I just think he is. I think Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown are really sneaky at 4,000 and 4,500 against it. There should be a lot of points scored in this game.
Yeah, so I mean, on the New Orleans side of things, it all starts with this dude right here. If he plays, if he doesn't play. For now, I'm just gonna look at the Pelicans under the assumption that he doesn't play. So right now, I'll tell you straight up, if he doesn't play tomorrow, you load up all of the Pelicans in your cash games and you move on. That's what we did the other night when we cashed out and took down all the GPPs. That they need Holiday, they need Mirotic, they need Randall, and they need what's his name? Etwan Moore. All four of those guys played 38 minutes when they have no Anthony Davis. All those guys pretty much can get 20 shots if they want, no problem. They're super aggressive. And I mean, if you look at the price tags, they're still fair. I mean, Drew Holiday, he's up there, but I mean the guy, he's especially gets the biggest boost with no Anthony Davis. He would be a cash game lock if Anthony Davis is out. Mirotic would be close. The other night, I told you I like Mirotic, and you were kind of like, I don't know about Mirotic. But this guy, bro,
no. Hold on.
Hey,
I told you Etwan Moore was a better play, bro, and he was.
Yeah, but hey, Mirotic, he gets hella rebounds with no Davis, and then he always figure out a way to score like 20 actual points because they need the scoring from him. So you look at Mirotic, you look at Moore, still under 6,000, great play, and then your boy Randall, absolute lock if he's gonna start and play the minutes that he's been playing when Anthony Davis is out, which is mid-30s. We started him last game. Almost 60 fantasy points. He definitely has the upside. This isn't a fluke, so I love him if Anthony Davis is out. And that's it for me, man.
Hey, let me just ask you. Etwan Moore was like 5,300, got 36. Mirotic was 72 or 7,300 and got 37. So that was my only point.
And I get you, but I love that dude when Anthony Davis is out. He's one of my favorite players for cash games. So let's move on. Next game we're going to talk about is going to be San Antonio going into Chicago to face the Bulls. This game has a 215 over-under, and San Antonio is favored by 6 in this one.
Do you have a lot of interest in this game?
Not really. No, I don't actually.
I mean, I don't really have too much interest in this game outside of maybe DeRozan and Aldridge. Rudy Gay's playing really good. I mean, he's actually just basketball standpoint, he's playing good basketball. He doesn't always have the fantasy statistics to go with it, but I mean, he's playing good basketball. You could play Rudy Gay in tournaments tomorrow. You could play Aldridge in tournaments, and you could play. I think all three of them are tournament targets.
Yeah, and then I mean, on Chicago side of things quickly, same thing. Zach LaVine, obvious best player they got. Jabari Parker is really starting to pick it up. The price tag's picking up. But hey, he's been putting in the work, so he's paying off that price tag. You look at him, Wendell Carter, I'm off the dude. So for me, it's just Zach LaVine and Jabari Parker, and that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Next game we will go with, it will be Indiana going into Utah to face the Jazz. This game we're waiting on some injury news on both sides. You got Donovan Mitchell, you got Oladipo, both of those guys hurt. So we don't have an over-under a Vegas line yet, but go ahead and get us started with this game.
Honestly, I don't have a lot to say about this game at the moment. I mean, to be honest with you, are you going to play Collison tomorrow? I mean, look what Collison has done in the games that Oladipo has been out. I mean, I don't really want anything to do with that. Tyreek Evans, I mean, Tyreek Evans is not a fantasy monster by any means, especially for 5,500. 20 fantasy points kills your lineup. It does. I mean, you can't get 20 from any player. You need more than that. I mean, if he's your drop spot, fine, but I'm not paying 5,500 for my drop spot. I can tell you that. Bogdanovich, his price is getting up a little too steep, 5,300, where I don't want to pay for him. Thaddeus Young, I mean, you could play Thaddeus Young, I guess. You could take a spot, a shot with him, but I don't know what's going on here. And until I know what's going on with Oladipo, Sabonis, and Turner, I don't really want anything to do with this. I know from a DVP standpoint that the point guard position, Utah struggles with it. So, I mean, if Oladipo is going to play and Oladipo is going to not be on a minutes limit with his knee injuries and soreness and all the stuff he's got going on, I don't mind Oladipo. I think Oladipo would be a really contrarian play going against Utah at 9,000. So I don't mind him in tournaments. But other than that, I got to know what's going on. I need more news.
Yeah, bro. So on the Utah side of things, bro, I got a new thing now. I got a new thing with Utah. With Donovan Mitchell, he's been hurt a couple of times already this year, and he's missed some games, a couple of stretches, a couple of times already this year. So my new thing now is whenever Donovan Mitchell is out, bro, you play Ricky Rubio and you play Ingles. That's my new thing. Those are the two guys that you play when Donovan Mitchell is out. Both of those guys' usage go way up. Ingles actually gets some ball handling duties as well, a little bit. So I like those guys a lot tomorrow on the Utah side of things. And then also, you got Derek Favors. He's been playing well. The problem with him is they just never give this dude the minutes. But when he gets the minutes, he has upside. Played him a couple of times last year. He had got those 50 fantasy point games. We know this guy's a baller. It's all really about minutes with him. They just never really want to unleash him and give him the minutes. And then Gobert. Definitely think that, there's nobody really on the Indiana side of things that can really even put a body on this dude. Miles Turner, I honestly think, will just get pushed out if he plays. They would have to play O'Quinn. O'Quinn would be the only guy that could really, physically contend with Gobert. But 8,000 price tag, I'm not really looking at this guy tomorrow. For me, it's just going to be Rubio. It's going to be Eagles.
I'll say something quickly because it's brought up in the chat about Aaron Holiday. The thing is that he's not really a secret, and he's at 4,600. So for me, I don't really want to spend 4,600 on a drop spot, if that makes sense. Like I'm cool playing him if I know everybody's going to be out. Like if I know all three of those guys are going to be out, and we're talking about having. But here's the thing, man. You got Aaron Holiday. You're still going to have Darren Collison. You're still going to have Corey Joseph, and all three guys are going to get run. It's messy, and I don't know if I want to spend 4,600 on my drop spot. Even I'm looking at now with only 8 scores counting, and you have a drop spot. To me, a true pump play is a guy that can get you 6 or 7, even 8 at minimum price, who's in a good spot. That's who I'm kind of looking to throw in a drop spot. And then hopefully I have somebody later on that eliminates that drop spot and does exactly what I needed to, which is move me up the board. So I don't know if I really want to waste 4,600 on a drop spot unless I know all three guys are out and there's kind of indication that this dude's going to get like 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, okay, man. I missed something. I absolutely missed something. I don't want to move on till I mention this, okay? So before I do get into what I want to talk about, Marv, you asked about Crowder. Hey, Crowder, we mention him every video, and he's all right. You need 25 for him to hit value. But, he's not doing nothing special for us. He hasn't really had those games, this year really playing for Utah. So I'm kind of off Crowder. The guy I'm really, really looking at, if Donovan Mitchell is out and he sits tomorrow, I absolutely love Alec Burke, 3,500 minimum price as your punt play. This guy has upside. He has 40 fantasy point upside. I think it was just earlier this year when Mitchell was hurt. He went off and got like 40 fantasy points one game. So if Donovan Mitchell is out tomorrow, I think Alec Burke is a premier value play that you can throw in there, cash game or GPP, and he definitely has some upside for 10x.
Yeah.
Cool. You like Alec Burke?
I do, but I'm gonna tell you something, dude. The one guy that I'm gonna continue to play, and my value spot, as long as his price keeps staying between 36, 37, 3,800 when he's on the slate, the drop spot I'm gonna continue to use is James Ennis, because If he does, it doesn't cost me anything. It's my drop spot. But the guy can get you 30, 32, 33. He can get you 10, 8, 9, 10x at 36, 3,700, depending on the slate. And you look DVP-wise, 28th in the league. DVP is Washington against small forwards. They haven't been good against them. Defensive DRPM, which is defensive real plus minus, they're 30th. So James Ennis, to me, that's what I'm talking about. This dude Aaron Holiday at 4,600. I'd much rather play Ennis at 36 than spend Holiday at 46 because I know Ennis is going to play 30 minutes. I know he is.
All right. Yeah, no, I get you. Sure. So let's move into the last game. Last game we're going to go with, it's going to be Orlando going into Golden State to face the Warriors. The Golden State, after losing a bunch of games in a row, they're kind of back on track a little bit. 2-game winning streak at home against the Magic. This game has a 214.5 implied total, and Golden State is favored by 8 in this one.
So we don't have Draymond listed as anything right now, and I watch a lot of Warriors games. Obviously, you do too, because we're here in Northern California. So this is our local team. They're targeting both Steph Curry and Draymond Green to return against Toronto. I think that's on Thursday, the first game of the road trip. So unless something changes, I don't expect Draymond to play. That was kind of the news that was in the Sacramento game. Their home announcement talking about Toronto being the game they're targeting Curry and Green to return against. So unless something changes, I'm treating Draymond like he's out. And that helps me figure out what I want to do here with Vucevic. I definitely want to play Vucevic and Gordon. Definitely want to, because they're just Golden State. The two things they're having a hard time doing is they're having a hard time moving the basketball. They're playing a lot of isolation basketball. There's times where they don't have Durant and Thompson on the court at the same time. And if guys aren't knocking down shots, they struggle to rebound the ball. And I like Aaron Gordon and Vucevic in this spot. I typically attack centers against Vucevic, but I think there's an opportunity here against Golden State. If there's not a Draymond Green, they struggle to rebound the basketball. They just do. So I like Vucevic. I like Gordon. And this dude, Jonathan Isaac, I don't mind playing him, but the third person that I want to target in this game is the stone cold shooting of Terrence Ross. I mean, the guy's a knockdown 3-point shooter. So that's what he's made a career on. 4,100, really cheap for your shooting guard number 2. You get him in the last game of the night as a late night hammer. So for me, right off the bat, with the news that we have now, I like Vucevic, I like Aaron Gordon, and I like Terrence Ross. I'm not on Fournier right now because Fournier is not doing enough to exceed value. I just don't think the upside is there for me. Cash game play, maybe. Maybe. But for me, and just to back up my point, we see what kind of game Marvin Bagley had Saturday night, right? Marvin Bagley had a monster game. All three of their bigs had really good games. So I want rebounders. I think Aaron Gordon's in a really good spot. I like him at 7,800. I think we get him a depreciated ownership being in the last game of the night. And I think Vucevic has a really big game here.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to go even in depth on the Warriors side of things. 3 guys we've been playing with Curry out, with Draymond out. First thing first, you got Quinn Cook. We keep talking about it. He definitely has 40 fantasy point upside. This is going to be a real tempo game back and forth going against Orlando. So I like Quinn Cook. I mean, he's been consistently in the 20s. For him to hit value on this price tag, you need about 26. Definitely think he can get there. He's playing the minutes right now. Like Quinn Cook, Klay Thompson, they need this guy to take 20 to 25 shots a game right now with no Curry, no Draymond. And he's been doing it. He's consistently getting you 35 to 40 fantasy points, paying off this price tag. You need 36 for value. So I like Klay. And then Durant, the price tag keeps going up, but he's playing well the past 2 games. He's got you 57, 67. Definitely has the upside. I mean, they really don't have nobody that can guard this guy. So I like Durant in this spot. I mean, and that's really it for me. I'm going to stay away from the backup, the big guy kind of mess that they got going on with that.
See, for tournaments, dude, I love their situation they got going on, man. I like Jordan Bell. Jordan Bell is like, because they're going to ride the hot hand, right? And to me, like, they're trying to get more out of Damian Jones. Kevin Looney's like the safety net guy. They bring him in. but they know that he's kind of like, remember back in the day, you would when teams really played with a real center, they would get a center they could just go in and waste fouls with. That's kind of what Kevin Looney is with this team. Like, he's like a throwback backup center that they bring in the game just to foul people. Like, they go, okay, we got 6 fouls out of this guy. Go do some work. But I mean, Damian Jones, I think, is a good tournament play here because he can get you 4, 5, 6, 7x. He's starting to really play at a better, higher level than he was. He's kind of figuring things out. And then Jordan Bell's just staying 3,500, and that's stupid because he's had a couple of big games.
Yeah, but you got to throw Drepko in there as well.
You have to. I like all those guys. I think they're all safe for tournaments. I think Looney. I think you could play this whole team in tournaments tomorrow. This whole team.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I think that's about all I got for this slate. If you got anything else, I mean, feel free to throw it out there. If not, I'm about ready to wrap this up and get out of here.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Cool. So, hey, I'll be back tomorrow morning with my NBA core plays for the day. Jeremy, he actually does his NBA GPP core plays to help you take down a big tournament with the really low-owned core that has, some, a really, really high ceiling. So go check that out over there on the DFS Cheat Sheet YouTube channel. And yeah, man, thank you guys for checking this out. We actually do have our Cyber Monday sale going on until tomorrow night at midnight. Go to the website, 25% off any package that we have. CBM25 is the promo code, CBM25. Go take advantage of the sale on the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Thank you guys very, very much for checking out this video. We'll be back tomorrow, all right? Peace out.